Somewhere in suburban Orange County, California, a humble portable structure stands where dreams flicker to life. A megachurch would rise, not from ambition, but from desperate hearts seeking belonging. Seeds in shadows. Martin Delgado arrived on American soil in 1985, fresh from the pressure cooker of Buenos Aires. He fled gang violence, hunger, the broken echo of unspoken grief. Behind tired eyes and a battered suitcase lay the battered hope that faith might speak louder than fear. He settled in Lake Forest, a place cloaked in promise. There, he found Saddleback Church, initially just a gathering of outsiders, war-torn souls banded together under a borrowed roof. Martin's rough Spanish accent and soulful guitar wove into the worship chorus, uniting old-timer baby boomers, lost teens, and immigrant families hiding from hurt. The past that haunts you. Emily Harper, a second-generation Korean-American, volunteered at Saddleback's Outreach Center. She carried a secret: her brother David, a Marine, vanished in action years ago. Every sermon about sacrifice clawed at her heart. She stitched quilts for the homeless and prepared meals, hoping her brother's spirit would somehow feel it. No one questioned her quiet intensity. Then one Sunday, she recognized a scarred face in the back pew, a man with the same handshake, the same spine-straight gait her David used when he came home on leave. Silver linings, hidden thorns. Around this time, the church, still just a collection of trailers, was growing fast. Rick Lawson, a former screenwriter turned pastor, preached hope in the ordinary. His voice lifted sermons off printed notes, carrying them into stained souls. One evening, in an old ballpark turned sanctuary, Rick pulled Martin aside. "You know, you're part of something bigger than those chords, hermano." Martin looked down, his fingers calloused but tender. He'd seen gangs take friends. He'd buried dreams alongside busted melodies. "I'm just trying to belong," he whispered. "But you already do," said Rick. "You're forming what this church will be: real, raw, redemptive. Tensions and tango." Expectation collided with reality when civic leaders criticized the church's fast expansion, calling it unsafe, too big for its own good. Emily, used to holding her tongue, marched to the town hall packed with immigrants, seniors, and mothers with bundled babies, a tapestry of devotion defending a building not anchored in steel but in spirit. There, she saw Martin, just arrived, his voice shaking with accent and fear. Yet determined. This is where healing happens. Not in ballrooms or auditoriums, but here, among us. Even the critics paused. The pastor watched, emotion hiding behind his suit, as congregants defended their fragile home. A twist of fate. Months later, David Harper, Emily's missing brother, reappeared. Not as a ghost, but as a shell of a man in uniform, lost in PTSD and broken in daily fights. He had slipped into Saddleback, alone, silent, shoulders dragging memories like chains. When Emily found him, washed in amber light from a windowed wall, she pressed into him, her voice muffled. She thought him a survivor from overseas, a miracle delivered from death. And he was, but not in ways she ever expected. He didn't remember her. Or the hymns they'd sung together. War, its horrors had swallowed whole chapters of who he was. Redemption in fragments. Martin sat beside David in the hospital chapel as Emily ran errands. The pastor stepped in, quiet. Church musicians held vigil, guitars dusty but strummed gently. Rick spoke to David in small confessions of grace, past the bruised haze of memory. Martin whispered a guitar string's prayer, a tune of home. Emily watched as David's jaw softened, grief leaking into song. For a fragment of time, they saw him whole, present, alive. The test of truth. Then came accusation. A local newspaper claimed Saddleback was exploiting the homeless for populist optics. False photos, twisted words. Suddenly, the church's heart was on trial again. The congregation held their breath. Would the air crack open, revealing shame, or would they stand firm? At midday service, Rick opened his sermon, "Every kingdom has stones thrown at it. But look around, you are not built on sand, but on stories of sacrifice, of missing souls finding a voice." He asked every new member and volunteer to stand: families, immigrants, war-battered soldiers, school kids with too many scars. Before the crowd, they testified, no grand facade, just honest faith stories of belonging, confession, redemption. Their voices rose like a single flame. Reporters were there. Cameras got the truth. Echoes in stone. Within 2 years, the trailers made way for curved glass and steel, a grand hall, multipurpose centers. But those structures were vessels, church spirit anchored not in brick, but blood. At the ribbon-cutting ceremony, Rick invited Martin and Emily to the front. Martin's guitar strummed a hopeful anthem. Emily held David's hand. He half smiled, memory fractured but tethered by love. Families clapped, tissues wet. The world paused, felt the real. Epilogue, the tune doesn't fade. It's 2025. Saddleback's legacy echoes across continents. Churches planted, leaders raised, a movement rooted in authentic brokenness. Martin's guitar strums continue behind grand acoustics. Emily's outreach names names, heals wounds. David volunteers, each day piecing himself back from silence. What started as trailers, nervous hands, immigrant songs became something bigger, a symphony of ordinary lives redeemed. A microcosm of American story, displaced souls finding home, sacrifice morphing into community, and hope bending toward new beginnings. In the end, the building stands beautiful, but its true foundation isn't steel. It's love, memory, forgiveness, and the trembling, resilient human heart that whispers, "Welcome home."